Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Before you get upset and say, where's Movie Game Monday? It's MLK Day, dude. It's MLK Day. We observe the holiday here. We observe the holiday. No Movie Game Monday. So instead, you know, normally I'd play Deadlock or something. But I actually have a special treat for you. I have spent a good bit of time setting this up. No, but because my cough is so interrupting and like I really need to like rest my voice and like not stress it, and my job is like to talk, I brought in a special guest today. I brought in Joe Rogan, friend of the show, Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan has a special show for you today with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I might interject sometimes and like talk over it, but I'm just gonna listen with you, honestly. You can like give your takes. I'll read subs. I'll try to read subs and stuff and like talk on occasion. You kind of look like a less chopped Nick Fuentes. Well, that's just like short, like white, brown-haired guy. But thank you that I'm less chopped. I appreciate that. At least I'll take that. Nick Fuentes, if he was autistic, well, I wouldn't say that, but perhaps Nick Fuentes if like he like wasn't gay. Don't worry about random chatters reporting you've watched Joe Rogan. They won't do that. It's fine. It's chill, dude. Laws are over. The president is a pedophile. The president is a pedophile and laws are over. Copyright is gay and done. Shut the fuck up and just mind your own business. Okay? Anyways.
Joe Rogan podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
That's wild. I went in because I'm not getting called in, but the ladies just. No, there's not.
Yeah,
even a
I did
reception.
put on a sharpening
Stan comes
filter
out with his mask on. No, the first thing I
at
hear
max
is,
level
"Pig fucker, fucking cocksucker, fucking pig fucker," and I'm like, "What is happening in there?" It's
because
in the other room.
I wanted
And
to
Stan
like
comes
get
in with his mask
around
on.
like potential like
Sorry,
content
I'll
ID
be with you soon. He goes, "I
just in case, but
And he goes back. And
I don't know
hear-
if it'll
listen
work.
To Hunter Thompson swear for like probably a
Why are you
total of
watching Joe
7
Rogan?
minutes, you know, with him.
'Cause it
And
makes
was
me feel like I have
I
friends.
could not have been a better 7 minutes.
That's incredible.
sometimes after
I
a
went
long
to the
day in the
Woody
coal
Creek
mine,
Tavern just to go
I get
there, 'cause
home
know
and
he used
Joe,
to go
Matt,
there.
and Ben are there for
You
me.
could, like feel him in the building.
What's wrong with
He
that?
has all the pictures. You got 300
Oh, gee, he's really listening to Joe Rogan?
Watching, you know, Netflix. And
Of course.
it's a lot
You turn up
harder
the
to
volume?
watch
I think it's fine.
Also, YouTube is also-
I tested it for like an hour before I really worked on it.
Excited about it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what we have.
But maybe. If I really
Yeah,
need to
that
turn
was
it up,
our-
let me know.
I mean, 18 years.
It's just like, okay, well, they're doing great shit out there. It's not like this sort of implied thing before was like, yeah, well, TV's not as good. It's not as interesting. It's just, you know, it's
When we
kind of-
started, it was there was a different. I mean,
was a
like
stigma,
like
yeah.
George Clooney, for instance. Like there was a big thing. You know, he very famously, you know, became this superstar on ER. That show, 40 million people a week were watching that show. It was the biggest thing, right? Because there were only a few channels to tune into, and that show was the biggest one. And George never renegotiated his contract. He wanted to work in movies, and it was like you can't go from TV to movies. It's very hard.
It is kind of crazy that George Clooney
And he really
went from ER
strategically and kind of patiently
to being a movie star.
He joked that on the last.
How do you go from a
episode he
show
was on,
called
Anthony Edwards,
Thank you
his
for
co-star,
Yo,
was
Pooh Bear,
making $1 million
thanks,
for
bro.
the episode, and he was making 20 grand or whatever his deal was. Like he
It's a
could
Joe
have
Rogan
renegotiated,
stream
but he
today.
would have had to
The
give
point
more
was
years.
that's how bad he wanted to get off TV
Right.
and do movies.
That's how bad he wanted to get off of the biggest TV show in the world, because there was such a big kind of level change.
Bad day to raid? This is the best day to
Well, it was a
raid.
giant difference in quality. It was also the
I'm
breaking it up
sick
for
and I'm
commercials.
trying not to
It was
cough,
just
so
a
I'm not
different
talking
experience.
much.
You know, there's all those rules, so like,
Yeah.
they're not better than what's in the movies. and so
Well,
that
then
just kinda
movies
went
started
away.
to move towards more IP, and
Right,
they, and
because
they,
it was
and,
hard to get people to come to the movies. Everyone got scared and thought, well, it has to be. A
I hate when they
sequel or
complain about
superhero
this.
movie
And
to
so
justify
an
being a
interesting.
I
little
love
movie kind of in the
superhero
90s when
movies.
we kind of came onto the scene.
I like when
you know,
Iron
there were
Man
a lot
meets
of
Captain
really good
America,
independent movies
dude.
that were being
That
made.
shit
There
was
there
awesome.
You know, it was a really.
Do I want to see the Odyssey on a big screen? Fucking def. I went to a theater to just watch the trailer for that movie, and you know, did I at one battle after another? I wanted to go see.
I
it in the
love
theater.
Ben
But
Affleck
there's
and Matt
movies
Damon,
that I really
dude. I
like,
just love,
respect,
like,
where,
bros.
Yeah, and I got a good system. And shit,
You
but I'm
love
like,
to
look,
see,
I'll
like, a
watch it. I might
healthy,
get tired.
like,
I'll pause it and take a piss. Or
guy
just, you know, whatever it is.
relationship.
that's conducive to my lifestyle. So
And most people's
I even
lifestyle.
see few. I think most
Yeah.
people are. Yeah.
But there is the
They are
experience
gay.
of seeing it with a bunch of other people.
It could
Seeing
be,
an awesome movie
but
with
they
a
don't
bunch of other
have to
people.
be
It's like a
too,
shared
and that's what's
experience.
beautiful about it. They could
always
just be
liken it to
bros.
way more attention. Like when I went to see One Battle.
That's why
on
it's great.
IMAX, like, first 5
Kind of like
minutes,
you and
it's
Schlatt on
you
those
know, we want
SMP
people to
days.
stay.
Everyone's
Yeah.
shipping for no
Tuned in
reason.
and
No,
can-
literally.
Let me grab
800 on a Deadlock stream. Dude, I love how, like, people keep pogging that get in here.
Now we're gonna flash back to the beginning.
the view
and say
count.
how they got there.
And it's every single time it's getting progressively
I always
lower.
feel like complaining about it makes me
But
feel like,
people
well,
are
this guy's
still
like,
impressed.
I was a boy. Like you always want to freeze the culture at the time when you, I don't know, felt more like we didn't
Oh,
used to have
Connor,
these
3
phones.
digits
You know,
today.
all these phones and every, look at the, I get.
It is weird though, the concern for the algorithm, like making sure that people watch. Like, look, we've got data that shows within the first 5 minutes when this happens, they tune out. So it's like my buddy Tony Hinchcliffe, he's got Kill Tony, and now it's on Netflix, and so they're giving him notes now, and they can give him.
Kill
well, They're
Tony.
not telling him what to do, but they're saying like this is when people are.
That's my buddy,
And
by the way.
Let's just so you have that data, now decide how you want to edit things.
The guy who like made fun of Puerto Ricans at the inauguration last year.
Because the
I watched Le Mans the other night, Steve McQueen, and there's no one talks for like 5 minutes. There's no talking. It's just a bunch of stuff getting done.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of people doing things, and it's like, wow, you could make it different. You could let it air out back then.
Yeah.
It was. They had a different.
You didn't even have to
respect for
talk
what
in
it was.
movies back
Like, you were
then, bro.
Telling a story.
What
You're
happened?
gonna let it air out.
well, they also knew where their audience was.
Yeah.
They were in a theater.
There were no
Part of it was
words for
and the
5
story I
minutes.
like is the first time they go ahead
So
and
you
does
play
it.
Deadlock
There's
when you're not
history full of
streaming?
people
Pretty
who
much, yeah.
Got told a bunch of conventional wisdom done before.
You're kind of just like sitting at my desk today.
This episode is brought to you by
I might do this more often.
It's the
I forget that I don't have a real job. I can just do things. I'm gonna play the ads as a courtesy.
And a reliable connection.
Also, I like knowing what products to buy.
One of the things I read that I thought was really fucking cool is you guys set it up so that if this film performs well, the entire crew gets bonuses.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully it's successful.
People have been, kind of given sort of promises of participation back in that haven't come true. So this is like the crew. Everyone got their rates. Everyone got their hourly. No one cut anything. This is just an exercise in actually proving that it's not bullshit. That if there's success, you'll get some extra. A little success, a little extra. A little more, a little more.
But also, like you said, because it's fair, and instincts of people who made the movie should participate in that, and also with this one, which was important to us, there's they delineate above the line and below the line, right? Like above
I like how they're going on Joe Rogan and being like, we're letting the peasants eat with this
and
one.
below the line being kind of more blue collar.
The poor people get money too now.
And
It was like painters, grandsmen.
And Joe's like, wow.
Everybody else, the drivers.
And so we just wanted we and believe like when we started.
It
this
is cool,
company, we were
though.
like, look, we know who makes
But
something
fuck
better,
Netflix.
right? It's not. It's
Oh, Rob,
there's an
thanks a
actual
lot.
like codified.
Why did Joe stop? What the fuck? Why is it paused? Why is Joe paused? Joe Rogan paused. Why paused? Jamie? This is the only reason I came to this stream. You were a 6-month subscriber to the channel. What the fuck got you here before? Would you go on Joe Rogan? Sure. Okay, no, seriously, what the fuck? Where's my podcast, bro? Where's my Joe Rogan podcast?
Nah, he's right.
Cool.
1
Let's do a
year and
close-up
him
of that.
also
That's really
only
fucking
here for
cool.
Joe.
They'll die for you. They'll go all the way, and it changes the whole
And
dynamic.
if you bonus them.
yeah, it doesn't hurt either.
It's not just all. It's
not just rah, rah,
There's an
thanks a
actual
lot.
like codified.
Wait, what the fuck? The audio went further, but like the image froze that time. It ends there. The podcast is over there? That can't be right.
You guys developed this? Is this something that you like? Kudos to you guys for addressing this, first of all, and recognizing it and having that attitude, because it's so important and it's so easy for big movie stars to just think about themselves and their
Well, we're
own careers.
communists, Joe. We're from Cambridge.
I like this because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are
but
like
each
actually
field
so much
has had
smarter
this
than
kind
Joe
of-
Rogan.
Each deal that we've done so far. Is different.
Like, there's no way that they don't know or have an understanding that that Joe Rogan has actually potentially caused a serious decline in humanity. And like he is responsible for whatever we're about to witness.
Actually create like a schedule where it's like, because, and by the way, we wouldn't have been able
But
to
he's
do that
still
without
just one of the
Netflix.
guys.
Okay, cool.
And that's what's awesome
We'll give you a
about
shot.
being a guy.
We wouldn't have been able to do it.
Was 110% of all Netflix viewers or something like that. So it's everybody who has a Netflix account watches it, and then like 10% of them watch it again. And we were like,
No, it's like K-pop Demon. This is
no,
big as K-pop
but that's
Demon.
what happened. We were laughing, and then K-pop Demon Hunters came along and actually did that. That's the first movie that's ever. Jesus. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of autistic kids watch that over and over and over.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen it, but I mean, somebody's watching it over and over.
Oh,
and over.
Did you just say autistic kids watch JoJo?
Right?
He's right.
Residuals, 6 hours too.
That's crazy. And then the other 6 hours they're on their phone. Like, how does anything get done? How does anything get done?
True.
When you started to make this film, like what is the process? Like how did you guys agree on it? Like did you guys have it written first
This is even easier than I
Was
expected.
Joe Conner
yeah,
wrote it.
Joe. So
before you knew you were going to Netflix?
Bro, I like
with it?
Netflix more than my
he came to us
like
with the
children.
script, and we've known Joe for a really good movie. His
I
first
don't
movie
even
was
talk
called
to them
Narc. I don't know
anymore.
if you ever saw it.
Yeah,
It's terrific.
stuff that was
Uh-oh,
going on
drama.
with strikes was centered around AI and what AI is going to do to the business. Like, where do you feel is going to be like the biggest problem with AI? Is it going to be with people's likenesses? Because there's a lot of that. Where
Hold on, Joe's getting into AI. I gotta listen.
Own their digital rights forever, essentially be able to recreate them in any kind of film. And there's also, you're going to have films that are
We
written
lose anyways.
by artificial intelligence. You're going to have scenes that don't involve people, and it gets weird, right?
It gets really weird, but there's actually an
It's
area
tricky.
of
Like,
expertise for him.
yeah, we've been spending time looking at this. Like, my belief is, it's sort of like, what's going to happen with electricity? Well, a lot of shit's going to happen with electricity. Some of it's going to be good. Some of it's going to change stuff. Some of it's going to be like, this is going to be, shit that kills a bunch of people. Like, it's opening a door that you can't, say, well, talk about it in a kind of a blanket way. But I think with what I see is, like, for example, if you try to get ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to write you something, it's really shitty. And it's shitty because by its nature, it goes to the meat, to the average. And it's not reliable, and I just can't stand it. Right. Now, it's a useful tool if you're a writer, and you're going, what's the thing? I'm trying to set something up. Or
You guys are like,
somebody
be
sends
prepared
someone
for a
letter,
shitty
but it's
take,
delayed
and
2
he's
days,
literally
and
entirely
give you
right.
some examples of that. Because we have the sense, this existential dread. It's going to wipe everything out.
Right.
But that actually runs counter, in my view, to what history seems to show, which is, adoption is slow, it's incremental. I think a lot of that rhetoric comes from people who are trying to justify valuations around companies, where they go, we're going to change everything. In 2 years, there's going to be no more work. Well, the reason they're saying that is
I'm
because
sorry,
they
I
need to
disagree. This is
ascribe
such a good take. He's
valuation
entirely
for
right.
investment.
Well, I think the more it becomes ubiquitous, the more people are going to appreciate real things that are made by real people. Like you still appreciate a handmade table. You're going to appreciate, like, did you see...
This is where Joe
Season
thrives.
Me, Claire Danes?
Yeah.
No, I
Fucking
didn't.
great.
Yeah.
Follows it up with something so basic but true.
It's terrific.
That movie gave me so much anxiety. There's moments where Emily Blunt is arguing
She's so
with him.
fucking
Where
good in
she's
that
so
movie.
good.
I really said I like that. I think that's the best she's ever been. I live, we live in the same building in New York. She's like a very dear friend of mine, and I was like, I really think that's the best she's ever been. And then I blurted that out to Chris Nolan, and he kind of stopped and looked at me like. He didn't say it, but he was kind of like, she's pretty fucking good in my movie, too.
Well, she's great, period.
She's great, period.
She's great, period. But there's some...
I gotta see it.
It's really good, but I was so
I
happy
love when
that
Joe
they
gets
put
to
it
talk
in
about something he
film.
cares
And I
about.
was
I
so
know you
happy
have to
that
like
it
speak his
gave Dwayne
language,
as a vehicle
like punch,
to show what he's really
punch,
capable
yeah.
of. 'cause
punch
he's
sport,
so limited by
fight
a
sport,
lot of just the
punch
parameters
hard.
of the roles that he was in.
And then he just suddenly becomes so eloquent.
Galactic.
It's collaborative. It happens.
This
with other
podcast
people.
sucks.
That's what movies do.
All right, dude. Go make your own podcast,
like,
dude.
You feel for people.
Fuck
It's
off.
empathy. It's all made up, right? That's not him. It's all.
Be nice to Joe.
Bullshit. Went through.
I listen to every Joe Rogan.
These moments that
This
were
one
kind
is
of
ass.
burned into his memory,
Dude, this is like
then
a more
really the best movies
distinct
are kind of
conversation and
almost
discussion I've heard on the Joe Rogan
project their own
podcast
fucking,
in like at least 4 to 5 years.
Before they
The
even
only
kind of
actor I'll
figured
take
out,
advice from is Jared Leto.
There wasn't even a lot of stigma. It was like, clean, whatever.
Well.
It's kind of rich guys, fun, drug. But,
I don't know what to tell you.
Some statistic about like
If you're 17, blonde, and have Instagram, and you DM him, I guarantee you he'll give you advice.
Well, it's why it's a perfect backdrop for the film, you know, because, you know, that the situation that the cops, without giving away too much of the plot, but the situation that the cops are dealing with is a very situation. I mean, so many DEA agents turn dirty. So many cops turn dirty. It's because they just get
so
confronted.
much temptation. Man.
Yes.
It's like you take these people, you know, you got like 6, 7 people, they work for a living, the same bullshit they have to deal with, and there's $20 million. Indicating too much.
No, it's really well written because there's no suspension of disbelief moments. And that's hard to do in a big blockbuster action movie. There's always one moment in a movie where you're like, what? Come on. How did he do that?
That's convenient.
You guys don't have any of those. There's none of that. And I loved it. I loved it.
No
I
plot
loved
holes.
That aspect of it too, where it felt like all of it was like I believed it.
It was real.
That's really a credit to Joe and his taste, and that's why.
Really? I knew a guy who's a friend of a brother of mine who went to jail for that, for murder, for killing people.
Damn. That's crazy,
I lived
Joe.
in Newton. I grew up I lived in Jamaica Plain for a little while. I lived in Newton, but I spent a lot of time in Boston because I was fighting. I was mostly training, and so I was around a lot of these like very
this shit is so mad.
Who were in the fighting world, and a lot of them had backgrounds in crime. One of the guys that I went to, that I trained with, he went to jail for a little while, and then he got arrested because a guy got killed, and they broke every bone in his body with a hammer and kept injecting him with cocaine to keep him awake while they were doing it. And then they cut his hands off and cut his head off. And this guy that I used to train with got arrested for that. Yeah, he didn't wind up going to jail for that. He's dead now, but he was somehow or another at least peripherally involved.
Yeah, well, I didn't do any fighting, but I went around and found a lot of things. One of the things about being an actor, and people will talk to you. You know? It's just a fucking amazing gift. Even if somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I killed guys," you know, they'll just come out and like, it's kind of the rules all of a sudden don't apply. Like these guys in the prison, what the fuck are they gonna talk? You know what I mean? But they're like interested in it for whatever, and you know, so
he was hanging out with Alec Baldwin.
And then I had like, you know, we had people, but this was that was like, so joyful. You know what I mean? To sit there and watch movies with my kid. I was like, this doesn't get better. This is the happiest I may ever be in my whole life. You know, right here, watch this movie.
What it's all about.
He's telling me what he thinks. You know, just like
watching a movie or showing a movie to somebody that you love, it's got to be top 5 experiences.
Right.
Why do I keep falling for girls who break my heart? Joe's not taking viewer questions today. Don't be sorry, dude.
When I was a kid, I think I was like,
egos.
This episode has really like evoked like a lot of reminders on like why Joe was like a good podcast host. Like when he has the right people, like it's actually great. He's having good conversations. He asks the right dumb questions for it to like set up the guests to like go into things. And then like Joe will like get excited about his stupid bullshit. It's a shame. He needs more people like people to like corral him in, to hold him back.